Humidus Podcast.
Welcome, beautiful listener, to the Humidus Podcast with Hammer, Stef, and long-awaited Dank N. Hello, guys.
Yo.
Hello there.
How you doing this fine evening?
There's actually a lot of interesting tidbits this time.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect anything from the Square Enix presentation, but we got some good stuff there. The Snyder Cut was surprisingly good. I want to talk about that.
Absolutely.
And, of course, our favorite fucking universe, 40K, just announced another Necromunda game, but this time it's not a janky-looking tactical RPG. It's an FPS.
No, I mean, let's just kick it away with that because that looked so awesome, that trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks really polished for once. I mean, it looks really, really like a good AAA title, almost.
Yep.
So, I mean, what do you think, Steph?
I am very excited about this, actually. Like, it was one of those, like, all right, this is going to be a day one purchase. I know that. But it probably would have been anyway because, you know, I'm a 40K fan and all that. But this one is like, all right, this is not out of pity. This is out of legit interest of playing the game.
It's not community work.
Yeah, exactly. Like charity.
Yeah,
but yeah, it kind of looks, you know, like they took some inspiration from the new, like, Doom Eternal with the grappling hook and with, like, the very fast-paced, brutal action gameplay, which, of course, it's very, very fitting for the universe.
Absolutely.
I don't know too much about the Necromunda part of it, other than, you know, I know it's a Forge world and a Hive City and all that, like the most fucked up place to be in the human world, or at least arguably. But then it didn't. There were a couple of weapons that gave me 40K vibes, but it also gave me, you know, a little bit like, you know, iron sights and everything looked very, like, contemporary. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah,
I know. I think that, I mean, the Necromunda kind of setting is, it's a little bit, I mean, it's not as known as the general 40K universe. It's more niche. It's set in the 40K universe, but it's actually a separate board game from 40K. And it's, like you said, it's a hive city in the 40K universe where, you know, violence and gangs and just every horrible thing you can think of is just rampant. I guess we could kind of talk a little bit about hive cities in general.
Yeah.
Just to give you guys like a general understanding of what the setting for the game is. So hive city is like basically a huge tower, which is a city. And it's, let's call it planetary scale. It's absolutely huge, often stretching into like the lower levels of the atmosphere. It is just packed with people.
Yeah.
Mostly in the billions. But the numbers, of course, vary from planet to planet and production rates and stuff like that. And 99% of the inhabitants live horrible, slave-like lives. So the thing is with the Hive City is at the top, of course, the nobility and the rich people with influence live and just bathe in every success or every kind of debaucherous activity, excess, intrigue, and all that good jazz. And as you move on down, you get to like the middle class and the working class, of course, which is the largest portion. And basically in the lowermost hive, there's like the sub-hive levels. And I mean, there's no law. There's only criminal gangs, mutants. You can't almost describe how horrible it is, but it's a good setting for a game. And that's where we're at with Necromunda.
And if you're looking at where we are sitting, like, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you see where we are sitting, we are probably sitting at the very top, obviously.
yeah, we're in the spires, so just gazing out at the beautiful city. Everything's cultured and well organized. But yeah, so obviously, like the gangs have play a huge role in Necromunda, and that's probably where the story is going to take place, like gang
Hmm.
rivalry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an FPS. So, like you said, very it looks very fluent and fast paced with like brutal action. But I think that the thing that it's positive that they can be a little bit liberal with the weapons because human designed weapons are kind of different in 40K, but let's not hope they take too much of creative freedom with that. I kind of got the same vibe that you mentioned, Steph.
Yeah.
What are your expectations? What do you think if they go a little bit too off the beaten path there?
Mm, it's kind of hard to say since I don't know much about the weapons they actually use in the tabletop.
Oh,
But I guess maybe it's a little bit bland to some extent. Like yeah, it looks like a very modified kind of like um, any token assault rifle from Call of Duty with a splash of orc engineering on it. You
Hmm.
know,
yeah,
but I guess they can. They have to scavenge and just like make their own weapons or like modified heavily these kind of things since they're in a forge world as well apparently so
yeah, yeah.
I guess it makes sense. It's explainable. It's not a huge thing to me, but I still want you know blast guns and melters and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, what do you think about the gameplay and like that huge like fluid sprawling action FPS?
Yeah, I got kind of the same vibe as Steph here with the fluidity and speed of Doom, and also
Mm.
the kind of the polish. I think it looked pretty polished,
That looks really good.
and kind of as you touched on the guns, I was kind of disappointed by the like stock AR.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's kind of not what I expect to see, but it looks really cool. Uh,
Yeah.
So from entry level 40k guy, it looks really interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
good
I
to
think
hear.
that this could be like a game that anybody could pick up. You don't need to be a 40K fan to enjoy this, probably.
Hmm.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they're going for as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I get that feeling a little bit like you said with the generic AR. Like every single one of us reacted a little bit to that, like, to the weapon design. Like we saw, yeah, this looks a little bit, Call of Duty like.
yeah,
Which is, it can be that they just try to make it a little bit more easily digestible for new
Hmm.
yeah.
players
I
and
mean,
not not
40k can
that like.
be pretty hardcore after all.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't really just
absolutely.
throw noise marines right at the mainstream people.
No, like cacophony, like noise guns,
Yeah,
guitar guns.
and with their like they have like these small supersonic booms reverberating in their noise sacs when they speak.
Yeah, yeah, huge like sacks on the necks and those small speakers on the shoulder pads, the
Yeah,
pauldrons, like small speakers just blasting out horrendous sounds. Yeah, that's it's not what you expect from your typical FPS.
no, I think it would be cool though. I kind of want to see them just go fucking ham at one
Oh, for
point.
sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
oh, we've talked about this a bunch, but like Space Marine with 30K setting.
Yeah.
Please give it
Our
to us.
dream game.
Yeah, that's our dream game. Yeah. But absolutely, I think that this has a lot of potential, especially since it does look like it's a really really polished game with yeah, that kind of AAA perfection.
And I
Hmm.
find that kind of interesting because like the developers previous game is actually the I or EYE Divine Cybermancy, which is like one of those games that it's like a Source game, and it's like an RPG FPS. And the thing
Ooh.
is, like, it is extremely janky, but it
Yeah.
also is extremely insane. And apparently, it's a lot of fun. Like, because they just
Mm.
go balls out. There's so many systems. There's just so much, like, there's no hand holding. You're just thrusted into it. And there's so many things to unlock, and apparently, like, so many ways to kill people. And there's just, like, they just went ham. And we're just
Yeah.
like, all right,
Yeah.
what we lack in polish, we're just gonna make up for with insanity and just creativity, right? So, and now it's actually sitting at a very positive rating on Steam.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and it has a huge cult following. Essentially, I haven't tried it myself, but even
No.
just looking at the gameplay trailers on Steam, you can kind of see like, oh yeah, this is a pretty underground game, but clearly
Yeah.
it
Right.
has
Right.
things going for it. So
Yeah. Uh,
I hope like with this they seem to have like a lot more funding, and they can just like they apparently they were just like mod developers that got lucky with funding and investors, and
yeah.
then they got a pretty strict deadline, so they couldn't you know meet the requirement that they wanted. So that's also
No.
like part of the reason why it became a bit janky. So let's hope
Right.
that in this
Right.
time they do it right.
Yeah, and it does look very right. I mean, trailers aren't 100% representative of the final product, of
Right.
course, but I mean, this few kind of seconds of gameplay we get to see here does look fluid, and I mean, the graphics look really good.
Hmm.
The kind of this that detail that you kind of want in 40K games, where you can see like all the grit and billions of windows in the background, in some kind of skyscrapery structure that just rises forever.
Mm.
And yeah, I like the like you said, the parts of like production areas in the forge hive where you can see like magma or smelt molten steel or something just flowing through. Looks really good.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you also have a cyber mastiff that's with you,
Yeah,
which I thought
yeah.
was really fun.
Why not? Of course. Yeah, that's the good old 40K aesthetic. So, I mean, this is just I don't have anything negative to say
Except for the
other
air.
than the weapons, yeah,
Oh.
which we covered. But it looks like it's full of promise, and
Hmm.
it could be an entry point to people who don't know the 40K verse and are kind of a little bit curious, but don't really like the heavy, futuristic fantasy style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bit more digestible, maybe.
Yeah, I agree, and just really hope this succeeds. And I think they have all the right prerequisites to make it work. So all the best to the developers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed. So we got something else this fine week. We got the Snyder Cut on HBO Max,
Hmm.
and you, Steph, have seen it.
I have 4 hours of my life I dedicated to this.
Yeah, and
Um,
was
and
it a
yeah,
good investment or?
I think so.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot actually. I to preface, I saw the first one back when it came out in the cinemas, and I
Yeah.
thought like, I mean, I'm someone who watched the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman. I didn't see the cinematic version, and I thought the Ultimate
Oh.
Edition, was completely fine. I enjoyed my time with it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
of course it had its problems, like the Martha scene and all that. There's some, and there are some scenes or like some problems like this with the Snyder Cut as well for Justice League. But overall, um, it was a very different movie than what we saw in the cinemas. I thought it fleshed out a lot of characters that didn't get almost any attention in the original movie, like Cyborg. He has a lot
Mm.
more to do here, a lot more development. Superman has some really cool scenes. The Flash has some really cool scenes. A lot of the cringy jokes are removed.
Good.
The
Good. Good.
the Joss Whedon jokes that really didn't
Mm-hmm.
work here. You know how
No.
in the original it's like when Superman, he's confused and he fights a little bit with the Justice League, right? And then he he hurts Batman, and Batman's like, "Oh, something's definitely bleeding now." As a follow up to the "Do you bleed" scene from Batman v Superman. But all of that is
Yeah.
gone,
Okay. Yeah. Good.
and it's divided into parts so that people can take breaks
Hmm.
and
Yeah. I mean, that's almost a requirement, right? For a 4-hour movie, it's a
yeah.
lot of people are not going to be able to take that in one sitting.
No, me included. I also took a break to make some food and freshen up a bit. But there is, I'd say that this movie took it from. I originally thought it was like maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10, but this one brought it to an 8 for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought like this one is the version. I mean, I know it's hard to release a 4-hour movie on to the cinemas,
Yeah.
but I can really see Zack Snyder's vision here, and it's setting up a second movie, kind of like what Infinity War did for Avengers, right before Endgame.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but then of course, the next movie most likely won't ever come.
No.
So that's a bit sad
It's
to see.
sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Darkseid shows up and it's like full blown. Like next time is invasion time, and they're setting up Injustice, and they're setting up a lot of cool shit.
Mm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
So and it's all well done. And Henry Cavill got more scenes here as Superman, like with the black suit and everything, and he just nailed it. Like I absolutely love him as Superman. And they just nail him as like this almost like Dragon Ball Z level character in like a Western comic universe, and you just see how
Yeah.
bullshit OP he is.
Mhm.
But I mean, those who know the DC universe definitely know that that's kind of how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Superman, he's basically OP as hell.
yeah, but
But yeah, and yeah,
I know. Just go on.
uh, I mean the setup for the universe to expand just does have so much potential. And for people who don't know and are like very Marvel-y, DC does have a very huge like scale and a very, I guess you could say, strong kind of high power levels
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
use an anime expression. So it's definitely like a lot of interesting characters with insane powers. So yeah, it's very sad to see that like fade into could have been.
yeah, and you know what's also maybe even more sad to think about when I saw this movie?
No,
Every action scene that Wonder Woman is in is so good. It's so like kinetic and so fast and like punchy. Like she
yeah,
isn't some pacifist. If you threaten innocent people, she will fucking just kill you. You know,
oh
300
that's
style.
yeah,
Because she is an Amazonian warrior, and but at the same time, she is also a hero. So,
yeah,
and like, I loved every scene with her in this. But then you also think that Wonder Woman 1984 was a complete fucking dumpster fire that thunder
yeah,
fucked itself back to the Stone Age. But it's such a sad thing to see when this was so good.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
even her theme just fits so well, and it's all just yeah. Every scene with her was epic. I thought the teamwork they had here was a lot better. And they used Superman in the right way. They used him sparingly, but when he showed up, he was just like this force of nature.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like they established that the enemy fear him. Like they only attack now that the Kryptonian is gone, and like the mother boxes that are like kind of like the Infinity Stones of this movie, I guess. The MacGuffins that Darkseid is
Yeah,
after.
yeah, right.
And they say like they're like kind of like almost sentient super machines, and if they're fused, they make you able to do something with the anti-life equation. I don't know. Anyway, point is the MacGuffins. So that they actually add this scene detail where they say like, why are they active now? They've been on the planet for thousands of years and blah blah blah. And they said, well, it's because Superman is dead. They were afraid of him, so they waited until the Kryptonian was gone, and then they activated.
Yeah, yeah, like that's the kind of power I'm talking about. So absolutely, Superman is like really, really strong in the DC universe.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a
Yeah,
treat.
I remember like delving into some kind of YouTube rabbit hole where this guy is like scaling DC heroes and villains in terms of power,
Yeah.
and there's like planetary and galactic power levels and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And there was characters I just never even knew about. So the DC universe is really fleshed out with a huge amount of storylines and parallel universes and yeah, all that good jazz. So
Yeah.
there's just
And
a lot to build on.
I want to talk a little bit about the epilogue scene as well. I won't spoil a lot of it. I'll just say a couple of things that, first of all, if you guys saw the trailer, there is a scene where Batman talks to the Joker. Jared Leto's Joker is back.
Yeah, yeah.
And like this scene takes place in the epilogue, the specific scene from the trailer. And I would say that I find Jared Leto's Joker to be also. I hate his laugh, but everything else about him is very like. I don't know. He seems very, very, very unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like completely unhinged. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is also like that, but this guy is more like. I don't know. This guy felt more threatening to me than, especially in this movie.
Yeah. Would you say he's redeemed? Did you see
Yeah.
like the Suicide Squad? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really mind him in Suicide Squad that much either, except for the laugh. That's the only thing I have a problem with. I
Yeah.
kind of found it funny with the thug Joker, but this is like, here he is, you know, the exchange between him and Batman have so much tension.
That's
And,
good. I mean,
yeah.
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
And yeah,
and
the Joker's no slouch. I mean, some of his stories are like insane in DC, where he gets like this insane powers and kind of fucks up the entire universe and stuff like that. So yeah, he's no slouch at all.
definitely not. And the whole epilogue scene in itself, I thought was very interesting, very intriguing, and so like I won't say more about it, but it brought in some characters that I would have liked to see the continuation of, to put it that way. And yeah, I hope we still get to see it. I mean, I guess if the Suicide Squad coming up, like the new one, does well, then maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, let's just hope that the universe can kind of continue on growing and developing, and maybe we'll get the part 2 continuation.
Oh, I would be all for it. So I recommend this one if you have, or well, yeah, just watch some parts here and there if you have to. But I really recommend this movie. I thought it was one of the absolute better, DC EU movies.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what about games that you've been playing lately, guys? Have you like discovered any gems?
Well, Game Pass seems to be a good place
Where
to
it
start
happens.
these days.
Yep.
Yeah.
I recently kind of reminded myself that I had it accessible on the PC as well, so I've been kind of
Yeah, I
burning
mean,
through
that's-
a couple of old barrels, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Game Pass is such a high value product. That's why I don't own it. But but yeah, well, like, what kind of pearls are we talking around?
I mean, the new Ori game
Yeah,
is just amazing, like what you'd expect from Ori.
yeah,
And,
yeah. We talked.
And it's
talked-
an ending for the story, I think.
Okay.
Oh, so it's a conclusion?
Yeah.
It's like the final game? Yeah. I mean, I guess they have a lot of Ori games now.
Could you explain a little bit about what Ori is for those uninitiated?
It's a like pretty run-of-the-mill 2D platformer, Metroidvania style. So
But it's like a hugely aesthetically pleasing game, right?
yeah, very. A lot of the like, you have this kind of invisible line, right, where you're walking, but the background is so intensively used to, like, for atmosphere and kind of cutscenes.
Mm.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
so well made, and I don't really have anything to put my finger on.
But is it?
No.
But yeah, the aesthetics is quite famous in it. But like the story is quite good as well. I hear pretty emotional.
Yeah, fuck me. The end got me pretty hard.
Oh
I
yeah.
was not prepared, but except for that, it's pretty much like something bad has happened. We have to fix it, you know.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm. Mm.
the depth isn't really there.
But is it? It's also very polished, right?
Mm. You can, like, this is one of the games where when you get good with the mechanics and the controls, you can kind of just zoom through everywhere,
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
and that's what I want in these games, right?
Yeah, yeah. Perfection.
Gotta get the tech down, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, of course.
Our resident pro gamer, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how you approach games. But do you kind of feel that the end was giving justice to a long series? And yeah, I mean, it's a very beloved game.
I mean, yeah, but
Without spoil.
is it that long? Are there more than two games?
Two games, I think.
I don't know if
Okay,
there's
it's just
spin-offs,
two.
but
There's like Blind Forest and Will o' the Wisps.
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there are just two. Okay, I thought there were three.
But,
Yeah, that shows mine. No. But
but to
did
answer your
you,
question, yes,
yeah, yeah,
it was really pretty or very good.
yeah, yeah, right. So, but was it 120 FPS? Did you kind of notice that, or
I didn't have an FPS counter, but I think so.
yeah,
Mm.
buttery smooth? I mean, it looks buttery smooth at least.
Hmm.
What about you, Steph? What have you been playing lately?
I have been a little bit of what do you call it? Super mainstream basic bitch because I've been playing a lot of Warzone.
Ah, Warzone with like work friends or
Yeah, work friends and a couple other friends as well. And I, I saw that Bethesda released like a bunch of their games on Game Pass, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
including to my surprise, Morrowind,
Hmm.
Oh,
and which is like the most hilariously broken, lovable game ever.
absolutely.
I mean, like, just the fact that in the beginning, when you start the game, obviously it's very, let's say it's before they managed to nail that mainstream, approachable mechanics to games, right? And like for example, in from Oblivion onwards is where you actually had the all right, if my weapon attack makes contact with enemy, it hits, or like they interact instead of like in Morrowind, it's like yeah, you attack, but then it's a invisible dice roll. So especially in the beginning when your stats are low, like you'll stand there like right up in their face and hack away, and you miss like
Yeah.
99%.
That's so hardcore, like old school style.
Yeah, and it looks
Oh
so
my
dumb.
god.
It took me such a long time to get used to back when I was a kid, but of course back then it was just so exciting. Um, and
Yeah.
then if you walk a little bit further down the road into the wilderness from the beginning city, I believe, you just suddenly hear this guy's like ah out of nowhere, and you look up, and there's this like guy that almost looked like a blue Santa Claus that just like smashes into the ground and dies, and and then he has this like scroll of something something flight. I don't remember exactly the name, but if you use that scroll, it like fortifies your acrobatics by like 3,000 points or some bullshit for like 5 seconds. And if you use that and you jump, you just jump into the atmosphere, and then you just like instantly die when you land.
Oh, that's such a good little tidbit to put in. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, I remember playing Morrowind back in the day. It was like the huge, like sprawling environment was so unique back then.
Yeah.
To have like such a huge world.
Yeah, it is, and it looks very different too because it's on the dark elf continent, right? So it's very like it's very different. It doesn't look like your typical fantasy setting.
Hmm.
No, no, it's very unique, very unique. Oh yeah, good old Marvin.
Yeah, and then after I realized that that was like not as approachable anymore, I went to play Skyrim on Game
Mm.
Pass, like on my Series X, and it ran really well. But then also it allowed for mods. So the first thing I did was install this like collect this package of Star Wars mods that gave me
Oh my
it just made all the Stormcloaks into Jedis, and it made the Imperials into, well, Imperials. So stupid because General Tullius is literally Darth Vader with the breathing and everything. So he's just standing there overlooking your execution. When Alduin pops down and just scares away everybody and kills the stormtroopers that use bow and arrow, by the way.
Oh, they do still use the bow and arrow. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
Oh.
the funny thing about this is like the lightsabers are really really well done with
Yeah.
sounds and everything. It's actually very very well done. However, you also get these force powers that just adds themselves as magic. So one is force grip, called like death grip or something here. And the funny thing with that is that you essentially point it at someone and you suspend them in ragdoll form. And you can just like kind of like back in Jedi Academy, like those days where you
Yeah.
can just like
Yeah.
break the game with grip, and you can do that here too because when you release, they automatically give the ragdoll a little bit of a push in the direction you kind of like flick. So
All right. Yeah. So you
so-
can throw them.
yeah, and fall damage is pretty harsh in this game, so you can just like yeet people everywhere and they just instantly die. And the funny thing is, it works on every creature except for dragons. So it works on giants, it works on
giants?
mammoths and frost spiders, you name it. And it has unlimited range.
Okay. Not broken. Not
No,
broken.
and it's so stupid because you could just stand on like if you have like draw distance max, then you can see people like a kilometer down the hill. If you aim it just right, you can just like use the grip, and then you see the guy just like flopping up the hillside, and then he's in your grip. But he also adds speed and momentum. So if you release as he's about to hit you, he just flies
Yeah.
off into the atmosphere and disappears.
I mean, oh Jesus Christ!
I had a lot of
I
fun with
mean,
that.
Yeah, Skyrim mods. Okay, that's a meme in itself.
Yeah. I enjoyed my time with it a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So I saw this other game, Loop Hero. You talked about this, Steph. It's been like rumbling in the indie scene lately.
Yeah, it's kind of like a. I mean, we've had so many, of those kind of like roguelikes, roguelites, like that kind of genre has popped up again, like the past
Yeah,
like what
yeah.
5 or 6 years, and it mixes really well with the Metroidvania genre and a lot of things. But here, I haven't played this myself, but I'm thinking about picking it up because it looks like it's such a unique spin on the formula. Because here it's also like a deck builder, but the deck is kind of like the world.
Mm.
So you have like different cards for blacksmith and for different vendors, and then for different type of landscapes and enemies and all these kind of things. So you kind of have to balance between benefits and risk that comes with
Yeah.
it and these things. So it looks really interesting, and it also ballooned, like it just blew up, it seems.
Yeah, that seems to be like some kind of trend lately that games that are really unique and interesting, they just blow up.
Yeah.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to use a very common word, viral.
Yeah.
They go viral. They just overnight the developers get a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, Lamborghinis and Audi R8s are selling like hotcakes.
I mean, I hope they also funnel some of that
Yeah,
money to
yeah,
the actual game as well. But
Yeah, probably, but but I mean, they deserve a little bit of something for themselves,
obviously, I mean, they're supposed to. If they create something really great and creative, they should have compensation for it. Obviously, I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's good you're like, you as a huge indie game fan, like you should be. I guess you are pretty happy with this, like this kind of like these new possibilities for indie developers, right?
I absolutely love that. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, but unique experiences often come with the indie scene. And sometimes they just strike the absolutely perfect note. Often with like these 2D old style, retro style games, of course, but sometimes also with other types of games.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just so much creativity where gameplay is always the center of focus. That's just something I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, this game just looks so interesting. It's in the vein of like an old DOS game almost
Yeah.
graphically.
Mm.
And it looks very like strategic. Like you said, you have the tiles, and you build the world with the cards or the tiles as you go along. And I guess you kind of steer your hero around as you build, or maybe you kind of guide the hero. I don't really know.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm guessing. Yeah, it says tactical as well, so
Mhm.
I assume it's turn based. And
Yeah.
I got an impression it's kind of idle.
oh yeah,
From what I've
Okay.
seen
Yeah.
on streams, like you kind of design the path, but the hero has to like go through it by himself. I don't
Yeah.
know what kind of interactions you can do along, but
yeah.
I believe
No.
the fights
No.
happen by themselves.
Okay.
But the goal is like to kind of groom the hero to be stronger and stronger, right? And
I
have
think so.
success. So you kind of have to build a gradual path for him or her.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it seems really interesting, and it seems so. I just love that style with the DOS, like that old Final Fantasy ish vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sprite work is just.
Yeah. I mean, properly done sprites can do so much.
Oh, absolutely, that's
Yeah.
art. It's art right there, guys.
What would you guys say is like your like the game with sprite graphics that you enjoy the most? Like which game do you think?
Oh,
Uh,
that's hard, but I would my first thought is like Chrono Trigger,
Right. Right.
because that's just such an amazing RPG,
Yeah.
and the sprite work is insane. But if I were to kind of ponder a little bit, I don't know. What do you think, Anne?
that's a hard one. I mean, there's a lot of old good sprite in games. I mean, most games was sprited at one time.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
They were. And
the good old 16-bit era had like some real gems with the sprites.
yeah, and Octopath more
Now
recently.
Octopath.
I guess
Shovel
it's a
Knight.
little bit
Absolutely.
cheating. Shovel Knight, yeah.
Shovel Knight. Fantastic
Uh,
game.
like I guess you could say Sonic Mania as well.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
That was a really good game. Yeah.
I think like the best ones for me has to be like the old Street Fighters.
Ah, yes.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
they're
a good
good.
choice. Yeah, that is a good choice. What about the upcoming Turtles game?
Mm.
Is that
That looks really sick, right?
Like everyone who's played Turtles in times has to be shitting themselves now.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
I imagine. Angry
ah.
video game nerd is making a video right now as we speak.
but it
I mean,
didn't
yeah.
it didn't even look like it was that they went for an updated take on it. They just literally just went ham on the classic style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and like bringing back that multiplayer fighting style game that was so popular in the 16-bit era and like arcade era.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's just the beat 'em up style just brings back so many memories,
Yeah.
which means I'm old, but yeah. Uh,
So is this gonna be a let's play?
yeah, for sure, I'm down for that.
Who's
You-
your favorite turtle?
I always thought that I was always very torn. I remember that Leonardo was always a character that I liked, but usually some of my buddies said, "No, you can't. You can't be him." You remember how that worked
Yeah.
when you were like, "No, you can't be him because I'm gonna be him."
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. I mean,
And-
Mickey was also one at a time, but yeah, I never really had like a favorite one. I had Donatello in like a figure. I remember, and I really like. I mean, I liked him because I had the figure, the figurine. But no. What about you, Ann?
Yeah, Donatello was all the rage in my circle of friends who play this game. But obviously the
Yeah,
owner of the game in the house got to play
Yeah.
Donatello. So
got to play him.
I
Yeah,
I think I used to be Leonardo.
yeah.
Yeah. Am I the only one who has love for Raphael, the brutes?
No, no, of course not. Raph was really, really cool. I mean,
Mhm.
Leo had the twin katanas, which was
Yeah.
all. I mean, as a kid, that was an immediate appeal to him. But Raph was also the Sai, or that's the weapon he's using, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was also very cool as a kid. Oh,
Because I had a
yeah,
Raphael figure
yeah.
that I got for my birthday when I was like 8 or something. 7 maybe. 7 or 8.
Mm.
And I lost it the very same day.
Oh no!
Ah.
How did that happen?
Um, well, back then in my circle of friends, we had this thing where, and we were really small kids. We used to we thought it was fun to take the toys and just like throw them as far as we could up in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why that was a thing, but it was a thing. So,
Okay.
and then eventually, because I remember that I was like I had my birthday party at this I think it was like we rented a school swimming pool, like a really big one. So we had like a swimming pool party, right? And we were doing that outside, and like mind you, both my friend who gave me that Raphael figure and me, we played this, and many like some other friends as well. But he was the one who encouraged it, and then it disappeared into some bushes, and it was gone. I guess he
You
couldn't take
never
the
found it.
punishment. No, I never found it.
Fuck me.
I owned it for like
Oh,
15 minutes or something.
Jesus. Oh,
I was pretty
that's,
bummed about that.
I can imagine.
But also, you
I
know,
can
play
imagine.
stupid games, win stupid prizes, right?
Yeah, right. Right, but this game, I mean, it's just a love letter to that old arcadey beat 'em up style,
Mhm.
which does look amazing, and I can very well see that we might do a let's play there. What
Should
do you
be
think, guys?
absolutely.
Maybe.
Just a maybe. Come on, and
And I mean, is it coming out on all platforms or is it just coming on Switch? Because if it's Switch, we need a
oh,
capture card.
that's true.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Trust in N to
You
be
see,
the voice of reason.
you see the problems before they arrive.
But anyway, couch co-op night, I'm down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that should
sure.
be great. It's at least on Steam
Yeah, okay.
as well, so that helps.
Yeah, looks good. Looks good.
We can
Oh,
we can play that while we also
screenshots.
play the K Project.
I I actually had to go and listen to the old Turtles in Time soundtrack after I saw the trailer.
Yeah,
It's so fucking good.
yeah, and it seemed like they tried to recreate a little
Yeah,
bit of that
yeah,
with the sound. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is gonna be a good game, guys.
yeah.
Just wait. Just keep waiting. Keep waiting.
And then
Maybe
just wait and
screenshot
see.
with Bebop. Yeah, wait and see. I mean, that just brings so many memories back. I remember my buddy back in the day had like because Ninja Turtles was a little bit of a rarity to see the animated series. Don't really know if we had it in Norway on like mainstream TV channels.
Yeah,
Do you
no.
remember?
Not the old
I think-
ones.
No, but he had like a VHS tape with like 5 episodes or something like that, and we just watched it to death. I mean, it was so fucking cool, and the intro is like the best ever. Oh, just that guitar riff. That just brings back so many memories.
I think we missed out on a lot of the great like early '90s and '80s cartoons in Norway because
Yeah.
we
Definitely.
I guess Cartoon Network and stuff came around in like mid '90s and they had some good stuff, but they didn't really have this and like Transformers and the old X-Men show. I remember went on like TV3 at night
Yeah,
sometimes.
TV3. TV3 was they had some. I remember like TV3 had SWAT cats. I remember the
Oh,
Radical Squadron,
Mm.
yeah,
which was
and
insane.
Cartoon Network as well had that, but it went noon, and it was always like we never. I only could see it if I missed school.
Yeah, yeah. So you missed school a lot. Yeah.
No, well, I wish, but I didn't. SWAT Cats
No.
was so fucking good though.
Yeah, that was a show and a half. I mean, for those who don't know, it's about like two basically cats living in a cat world with just nearby cat huge sprawling metropolis.
Cat face.
Yes.
Cat face, Jesus Christ. Yeah, but these two radical cats built their own jet basically from like a scrapyard. Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't caught myself yet.
Yeah, but it was a really, really kind of well animated and good show back in the day.
They, they have the body of a cat and the face of
The face of a cat.
and they fly through the air because they got a cat face. Cat face.
Oh, cat face. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So we got to explain that now. I mean, if you want to go see, just search cat face on YouTube. You'll see the cat face series. It's quite unique. Quite unique.
I just remember
Gem
that
of old.
you were the ones that you were the one that like introduced us to that back when
Yeah.
I think we bonded to a certain degree over cat face and similar flash animations and SWAT cats
Oh.
too.
Oh, such
Good
an
times.
awesome show. Yeah, but like the cat face Weeble stuff, that's before your time. It's basically Newgrounds material and like the old, or maybe you got some of that, but it was really, really early in the internet. There was a lot of flash animation.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were like some humorous small videos that then went viral basically in that little community of Flash videos, and Weeble Stuff was one of those sites that produced a lot of those. And Catface is basically a later iteration from them.
But I also remember that it was almost more funny to hear you talk about Catface than it was to actually watch it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is with Catface, the series, which is actually it's actually a series. It's about a giant cat face floating in the air, but the series is not really interesting at all. But the intro is just so funny. So yeah, check it out. But yeah, good old times when we were in biology class.
Yeah. Good old biology class.
Had some good laughs. Yeah, guys. So I think that's it for today, and I would always urge you guys to stay humid and
Stay down.
stay down.